All right, here's the deal. This concealer is $112. So we're just gonna jump right into it. We're gonna test it out. We'll save all the ancillary stuff for the end, okay? Shade 1, this is by the brand Sicily Paris? Sicily Paris, okay? It's $112. I don't know if you heard me at the beginning. I got it on beautylish.com. There are 8 shades in total, I think, on the website, the Sicily website, but on Beautylish there were only 4 and 2 of them were sold out. Like the, more like, I was gonna say the deep ones. They weren't deep, they were like light to medium. But anyway, so this is number 1, which is the lightest shade. Let me just give you a little swatch. So if you compare it to my skin tone, for those of you who don't know, and a lot of you do, I am a very fair olive, warm olive. It's a pretty peachy light, I'd say. In fact, my color corrector, under eye color corrector that I use is somewhere around here. Someday I'll learn to organize before I start filming. So to color correct underneath my eyes, I use the LA Pro concealer in the shade, it's light ivory, but it's like a warm peach, basically. This is light ivory from LA Girl, which is obviously, oh, right there you can really see. Like it's darker, obviously, and it's a warm peach, so I use that to color correct. This has a little bit, I guess it's more of a nude, kind of, like a little bit more pink in it comparatively. This is a little bit more of a orangey yellow tone. I'm not going to color correct because this is such a like pinky peach color. I also don't want to manipulate the formula in any way. I am wearing sunscreen, and then I applied my Bite Beauty Changemaker Skin Optimizing Primer for normal to oily skin. I'm gonna apply a little bit on my finger. It's actually kind of a lot. And then I'm going to be incredibly perfectionist and get it as perfectly even as possible. I'm using my fingers because I feel like it. Why did I apply it to both sides? That was really stupid. You can definitely hear my neighbors, by the way. The people upstairs are watching a really loud movie. The dog next door was barking. My boyfriend's cooking pork. It's a mess. I filmed this yesterday, and it didn't go well, so I'm filming it again. Okay, so I just removed it from the side because I was like, why did I just put it on both sides? We need to compare. So here's the thing. When I applied it yesterday, I hadn't waited long enough for my like sunscreen to set in and all of my skincare, so it didn't give it a fair shot. But what I found was as I blended it in more and more, it started to disappear. So I don't know if you can really see that, but as I keep pressing it into my skin, the color starts to disappear. The coverage starts to disappear. It makes my under eyes look very nice and hydrated, you know? It looks very natural. Like if I'm looking at the monitor right now, if I'm comparing the sides, I can see a little bit of a color correction, but it's like not a big difference. It's not a full coverage concealer by any means. All right, so that is 1 layer on this side and 0 on this. So I'm going to actually try to build it up a little bit more. Now what I decided yesterday was that it's probably better for a very natural look. It is more of a color corrector, the color of it. And surprisingly, considering that it's much more of like a darker peach, it actually like blends into my skin fairly nice. But the more I build it up, the more you start to see that peachy tone, you know? And it starts to kind of like stick out next to my like very fair olive skin. Like this area gets very peachy and then this end like remains very fair olive and it just looks kind of disconnected. So what I'm gonna be doing today is just using this as a very natural concealer. I'm gonna set it with a powder like I typically would. And we're gonna test how it wears throughout the day because I'm going to a show tonight and I don't know, I'll be laughing and shit. I got all these creases, you know, it'll be a great test. Here's a side-by-side comparison. Two applications. It is incredibly hydrating. It feels nice and lightweight on the skin. And one thing that I was very impressed by yesterday was that I didn't really get creasing. I didn't get a whole lot of settling. It kind of like sat exactly where it was meant to be. Now yesterday, like I said, I couldn't really go on, I don't know, the base that I had really, because it was just manipulating it, I think. Oh, I'm getting creasing in my creases, but not really underneath. Yeah, when I start to blend those out, like just in my lines that I have, I can already start to feel the concealer setting a little bit, which is interesting. Like it really starts to kind of set. But now I'm looking, I don't know if it's like very obvious on camera, but this whole area just looks like very peachy, you know? Which is why this time I decided to do my concealer first so that I can kind of like blend a little bit, just at least around here. I won't be manipulating the formula with my foundation. Okay, so right off the bat, if I'm looking in the monitor especially, I'm seeing some color correction. I'm seeing, you know, some nice hydration, but I'm not really seeing a big difference. It's not a full coverage concealer. I'm not amazed. I do think that this might make a pretty nice color corrector. At some point, I would like to try this underneath my concealer, like maybe use it as a color corrector instead of my LA Girl concealer, and then go in with my Rare Beauty concealer, or I don't know, whichever one I decide to use. But as far as the color goes and the coverage, it's just not really enough for me. And the limited shade range is just like disappointing, you know what I mean? So what I'm gonna do now is finish off the rest of my face, and then I'm going to, well, I'm gonna do some things, and then we're gonna come back and set it with powder so we can see how that goes. Really quick, I don't know if you can see, but I just put my foundation on, the stark contrast between my under eyes and my foundation. Like my foundation looks so yellow, and this area just looks like very, like, pinky orange. I don't understand how I get so oily. It's really confusing. I'm peeling down here, like my skin's so dry. Anyway, so we're gonna set underneath the eyes now. This is how it looks with like the rest of my makeup. I just did blush, bronzer, very natural. This is just for you guys because we're going to a show tonight indoors. We gotta wear masks. So anyway, so I'm gonna use my LC Cosmetics. Yeah, I'm literally this whole, I mean, I hope so, because I'm peeling down here. It's not a great look. So I'm using my LC Cosmetics light medium setting powder. That's really loud. This is why I don't film on Fridays. So not a whole lot of movement down here. A little bit in my creases, but like that's so normal, and honestly there isn't that much creasing happening, or like buildup, I guess. So I'm just gonna make sure that this part is a little blended out, my lower lash line. And then I'm going in with my Sigma Soft Blend number 40 brush. Sets nicely. Very, very natural looking coverage. When I applied my blush, I felt like it blended a little bit better because the color, you know, and that's a lighter powder, so it's gonna add like a little bit of something, you know. This is the powder that I always use though, so I wasn't gonna use something different and like manipulate the situation. Yeah, I mean, down here looks terrible. I apologize. I'm still trying to figure out like skincare products and makeup. It's like not going well for me since I saw a dermatologist. All right, so that's not bad. That's it set, obviously. So I think the biggest thing that I can see right now is that it doesn't like remove my anatomy. You know what I mean? Like you can see the hollow underneath my eyes. It doesn't even necessarily get rid of like very much darkness. Like you can kind of see a little bit of gray come through. I am not mad at it. I feel like it looks very natural and nice, honestly. Yeah, it really wasn't creasing much before. And after setting it with the powder, it just looks very soft. So I don't mind it. Okay, so here is how it looks with, I was gonna say a full face of makeup. It's not really, I'm not wearing lips or anything, just lip balm. But like with the finished, like a makeup look, you know what I mean? It's not bad. I don't think it's bad. I think it looks very natural. I think the color kind of came together really well. I'm pretty sure the people upstairs are watching like Kong versus Godzilla right now or whatever the fuck that movie is. Super annoying. Anyway, let's talk about this. So the reason that I'm reviewing this concealer is because I've received this request from a lot of people. And I think it started when I reviewed the La Mer concealer, which was $80. It was that stick. As far as shades go, I can't remember. They had like a pretty ridiculously poor shade range as well. So let's see. Yeah, 112 across the line. Like I said, I got it on Beautylish. Let me check out the Sisley website to see what the actual shade range is. So I don't know exactly why. I feel like people just kind of like have this there's this allure to brands like La Mer and SK2. Like if it's a ridiculous price tag, people are like, why? Why is it so good? Or why is it so expensive? Is it that good? And I know that Sicily has a famous primer that's supposed to be incredible that I have not tried. Okay, so on their website, it's showing 6 shades. And if I can zoom, you can see their examples. You know what I mean? Like it goes to like tan, I guess. You know, so let's see what they have to say about this shit. Key ingredients, the science of plants at the heart of this formula. Red vine extract. Tones. That's weird. I don't know what that means. Ginkgo biloba. Fucking love saying that. Ginkgo biloba. Ginkgo biloba extract protects and tones. Arnica extract soothes and tones. So I think something that they're like trying to really get across is, where'd my mirror go? That it's going to, and I believe this is the claim with their like fancy ass primer, is that it's going to like really smooth and plump the skin. Like it's going to smooth it out and plump it. I don't know if that's something that I would necessarily say it's doing. I would say that it's relatively hydrating. I think my under eye looks nice and smooth when I applied the powder, but with just the concealer, I didn't really like notice that. So I'm not really noticing that. I don't know if you guys are seeing anything different on my face here. Caffeine, which is supposed to kind of like, what is caffeine for? Like dark circles and puffiness, I think. Soy peptide extract, hydrating, I'm guessing. Horsetail extract, tones. Carrot extract, hydrates and revitalizes. Candia extract, natural alpha bisabolol. The end of that word is lol. Soothes and softens. Plant origin glycerin hydrates. Oh yeah, so this is the applicator. I forgot to show you this time because I already fucking filmed this thing. It has this kind of applicator, this guy. So they like claim that, oh, it's like nice and cooling and depuffing and all that kind of stuff. But like I don't like doing that. It feels like not hygienic to me. So I just put it out on my finger, and not that that's any better, and then apply it that way. You know what I mean? So that's not a benefit that I really want to take advantage of. I'll tell you this, it does feel like an eye cream. It feels very hydrating. It's a very light coverage. It doesn't really say, it says something about like a natural finish. It doesn't really say anything about the coverage. It might be interesting as a color corrector. That's how I feel about it right now. I don't think, there's nothing like horrible that I can say about it other than the fact that it's ridiculously priced for absolutely no reason. You know, like I don't know if you guys saw my other concealer videos, but when I tried like, for instance, the L'Oreal concealer and then the Tarte, the Jouer Essential Coverage Concealer, I was like blown away because it was like full coverage concealers claiming full coverage, and they were full coverage, you know? So this I just don't really get. It's just kind of like, why not just go for the Glossier stretch concealer, or I don't know, some kind of other serum concealer. Honestly, as serum concealers go, I love the Rare Beauty concealer. I think it's beautiful. It applies a really nice amount of coverage. It's lightweight, it's hydrating. You can build it up or tone it down. That's great, great option. Anyway, I'm going to check in with you at the end of the night, and we shall see how it holds up. If there's creasing, if the color fades, just the general, you know, how does it look? Do I look like dewy and plump and smooth as fuck? I doubt it. Okay, first, can we just acknowledge how incredibly oily I am in the center of my face and how much my skin is peeling? All right, so this actually wasn't as long. Okay, please try to ignore the situation that's happening. Skincare journey, if you don't know about it, I apologize. So, did get a little bit of running from my Wayne Goss waterproof mascara. What the fuck is that? Okay, so this is the concealer. I feel like it held up pretty well, honestly. I mean, we went to a comedy show, so I was laughing, you know? Lots of facial expressions and things. So it didn't really like crease in my lines very much, which is nice. This stuff did, Jesus. So yeah, I feel like it held up pretty well considering. I applied it probably around, I don't even remember now. It's like midnight-ish. So yeah, I feel like it held up pretty well. It didn't really crease, but I mean, it doesn't really provide that much coverage, you know? So here's what I'll say about this concealer. It's obscenely overpriced. I don't get it at all. Here are the nice things. It's very lightweight. in terms of coverage, it has like this really nice kind of lightweight creamy feel to it. It feels like a hydrating eye cream that has pigment. And when I first apply the concealer, I feel like it gives like a nice amount of coverage, but the more you blend it in, it starts to disappear, like your skin's absorbing it or something. So it's kind of difficult. I ended up putting on, I think it was like 3 layers. I put on like maybe 1 more layer while I was doing other things, like other makeup or whatever, just a teeny little bit. So it ended up being like that much, you know? What else? It did a decent job of color correcting, and you know, it definitely didn't dry out my under eyes or do anything ridiculous to them. You know, I've been dealing with like trying to figure out my skincare routine. Clearly, I went to a dermatologist and I've been on prescription products. So this is a result of tretinoin and benzoyl peroxide, I think. I can't even remember what it is. It doesn't matter. So trying to figure out products that are going to keep my skin hydrated, but not ridiculously oily, very difficult. So it's very nice to see that this area doesn't look like so ridiculously crepey and everything. But I think part of that has to do with the fact that it doesn't provide that much coverage. So I am going to try this again. I'm going to use it as a color corrector underneath concealer, and I'll probably just include it in another video. But I didn't even need to try it to know that $112 is unbelievably ridiculous. I was pissed off about the La Mer concealer because it was fine. It wasn't full coverage. It was you know, it was hydrating enough. It was like kind of a light coverage. The color was way better than this for me anyway. And that was $80. Why is this so expensive? What is the point? I don't understand. If you guys have tried this and you feel differently, please let me know. Or if you feel the same, whatever. If you have experienced what? Tried more products from Sicily, then let me know. I think it's some bullshit. I'll be real with you. I think it's bullshit. I don't know. It's just like, there's nothing crazy happening here that could ever justify $112. It would need to pay my bills and clean my apartment and completely erase my dark circles and also fill in my hollow under eyes. For $112, I feel like that's not asking that much. You know what I mean? I'm exhausted. I need to go to bed. I hope that this footage turns out better than the last one because I had to scrap. Did I say that in this? That I filmed it earlier? Or the day before and it totally sucked? Whatever. Thanks for watching. Bye.